Moline, Illinois sits at a population of around 43,000 people. Relatively small compared to a city like Chicago, but do you know where everything is? In this video, I go into the map to show you exactly where all the amenities are from Moline, Illinois, so that when you move here, you can make an educated decision on where you want to be. Let's get started. Hey there, Alex Skeen here, and if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know what it's like to work, eat, sleep, and play in the Quad Cities, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell to get notified every single time we upload a new video. And honestly, guys, we get so many calls, texts, emails from folks like you who are either thinking about moving here or relocating to the area, and we absolutely love it. So if that's you, give us a call, send us a text. Heck, send the Pony Express if you want to. We're here for you. I said at the beginning, Moline, Illinois is not the largest city in the world, but it is the largest city in Rock Island County. And I want to let you guys know exactly where all the amenities are, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to break it down right now. Well, to start off with, let's look at the map from a higher view. If you're not familiar with Moline, it is a part of Rock Island County and is on the Illinois side of the Quad Cities. If you're looking at the map currently, this is the entire Quad Cities bounded by 280, I-80, and back around, making a full circle, and split down the middle by I-74. Moline is actually, like I said, on the Illinois side, and it's this highlighted area here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this over here as well and zoom in for you. Now, Rock Island is on this side of it, just so you know where you're at. And East Moline and Silvis are on this island. In case you're looking at a map yourself, you kind of know where I'm talking. We're going to go ahead and zoom down into downtown Moline. This is probably my favorite area of Moline because it really is the entertainment district of the entire city. So I like to go down there, enjoy a couple drinks. When I moved here in 2015, I actually lived not too far from downtown, over here at Western Illinois University's dorm rooms, or apartments is what they called them at the time. So I got to go down to downtown Moline quite often, along with all my intern friends. So I really, really enjoyed that. But some of the things that Moline's downtown has to offer is the biggest one. It would be the Tax Layer Center. It is sitting right on the river. I'm going to go ahead and switch to satellite here. It's sitting right on the river, this big circular dome. I'm going to go ahead and zoom on in here so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. You can see the building there. The parking lot is over here. If you're ever going to an event there, make sure you get there early. It is a fairly large parking lot, but it can fill up pretty quickly. So like I said, if you're going to an event at the Tax Layer Center, think about getting there early just because it does fill up fairly quickly. But you can see here the Tax Layer Center. It's had different names in the past. I know it used to be called the Mark. That's before I was here. But if you talk to any locals, they might refer to it as the Mark because it was called the Mark for so long. So keep that in mind when you do move here, that it is the Tax Layer Center now, but it used to have different names in the past. Different things that the Tax Layer has to offer is they have like their resident situations, so they have sports teams. The biggest one is the Quad City Storm. It is a hockey team, a minor league hockey team that used to be called the Mallards. Mallards went under, a new owner picked them up and had to switch the team name based on the rules of the league that they were in. So they are now the Quad City Storm. And in the last few years, they have switched over as well into the football. It is called the Steam Wheelers, and they are a indoor arena football team. Very cool to watch. So if you're ever wanting to watch sporting events in Moline, Tax Layer Center is your place to be. But they also have different things that are not sports related. For example, they have different concerts. They have monster truck rallies. They have rodeos there. Anything that a venue like this can hold, they are pretty good at getting into that venue. I've even gone to weddings there. So It's full of different options if you're thinking about going there. Highly recommend it because it is one of the main hubs that you can go and see. But if we go ahead and go down the street here, this is River Drive. It does go along the river, and it does hold a lot of the entertainment value here in Moline. But one thing I've talked about on past video is the John Deere Pavilion. If you're doing your research on Moline, you probably already know that John Deere's headquarters is based in Moline. And as such, they wanted to form a community center or a visitor center for the John Deere enthusiasts, anybody that really likes John Deere. And they've situated it right on River Drive here. You can see it's a really beautiful building, all glass, has a lot of the equipment. They do change out this equipment out in front every now and then. So if you go there and it's not this equipment exactly, you just have to know that they do change it out. So if you're an enthusiast or just looking for something to do, I highly recommend checking out the John Deere Pavilion just because it is such a cool place and it's free. So check it out if you're moving here or just trying to get into the area. Go down to downtown Moline here and check out the John Deere Pavilion. And you can see the Tax Slayer Center in the background there. Now I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit. Another thing I've talked about in the past is the Bass Street Landing. And the Bass Street Landing, if I can find it here, is located right here. Let's go ahead and jump on into there as well. So the Bass Street Landing, as you can tell, there's a splash pad there for any kids that want to come by. And during the summer, if you see this little area back here, that is a stage. And during the summer, every Thursday from 7 until 9, they do host free concerts. And the genres are pretty varying on what they have to offer. It's really awesome. You bring your own chair, free to walk in. They do have vendors lined up around the outsides here that sell beer, sell food. So very entertaining for the family or just yourself. And it could be a perfect date night. I did that last week with my girlfriend. We absolutely love going there. So check it out as another place to entertain and take friends or family if they're in the area. All right, so moving on. That is all the riverfront that is downtown. But if you move on into the actual downtown area, there's a bunch of different restaurants. Let me see if I can find some good ones for you here. If you spin around here, this is Bierstube. Bierstube is a German restaurant. So if you like German food, highly recommend Bierstube as they do have the best German food in the Quad Cities. Granted, I think they might be the only ones that have German food, but it's still really good regardless. I don't think, oh, it does let me back here. But if you look back here, there's this little area back here. It's a little beer garden. Again, another place to be if you want to hang out. They do have some bands and stuff. It's not all Bierstube back here. They also have Bent River over here, and then a few of the restaurants in front that also entertain back here. So again, nice place to hang out. I did it when I was an intern. We'd come and hang out in this area, go to some of these bars, go to some of these restaurants. Really cool place to go, and I recommend checking it out. If we go ahead and move on down the river here, you'll notice that there is a bike path currently underwater on the satellite image. That is one thing to think about is if you get closer to the river, the chances of it floating out are higher, but it really doesn't get up too terribly far. You can see this is about the extent of that it will get. It might get up into this area. For the most part, the homes that are along here aren't in the floodplain necessarily, but it's something to think about if you are thinking about moving close to the river. But along here is the Ben Butterworth Parkway. It is a parkway that has a bike trail, has a lot of gardens, a lot of different parks that you can go in and actually hang out along the river. It provides, in my opinion, the best view of the river. You can take a look at the new bridge on this way, or you can look up the river and see what's going on down this direction. If you zoom in, there are different restaurants. For example, Milltown Coffee here, or if you go further down, you have the Captain's Table. When I first moved to the Quad Cities, I lived in these apartments right here. And I actually sat right on this corner and got to look out upon the river. And it was entertaining to watch the boats go up and down. And I remember one specific time I was sitting in my room and I look out on the river here, and there was a guy walking on the river. And I was very confused because it looked like he was walking on the water. And I thought maybe, he was Jesus or something. It turns out there's actually a wall that's buried underneath the water here that somebody got out on. I don't know how he got there personally, but there's a wall out in the middle of this river. When they dredge out the trench, they put the mud and stuff on this side of it, and then that wall keeps it from going back into the river. So it turns out he was walking on that wall. Very confusing for somebody that's never been around here, but there is that wall out there, and apparently somebody wanted to walk on it. But if I move back in, so I lived here and I would run this bike path every single day because I was getting ready for a race that's actually held in Davenport called the Bix. So I was really trying to get in shape for that. And one thing that surprised me was this restaurant right here called the Captain's Table. It's a seafood restaurant that actually burned down. And you can see that in this image here, that there is no restaurant here, but they have recently rebuilt it and it looks very nice. I haven't got to go to it since they rebuilt it, but when I was running it, it was the old restaurant and they would hold live concerts right on the river here. So I got to listen to that live band as I ran by, breathing really hard because I was out of shape at the time. But it was really cool to hear that band and see the river all at the same time. So if you're thinking about seafood, Captain's Table is really good. At least it was before it burned down. I'm assuming it's just as good a quality as it was before. And then we come up right along the edge of Moline right here, and it moves into East Moline, where there's another entertainment venues all along here. You can see this used to be a big International Harvester Works plant, and they tore it down, and now they're redeveloping it. You can't really tell in this image, but there are hotels. There's the Rust Belt, which I've talked about in other videos. So they're really, really developing it there, but that is technically East Moline, not Moline. Now, if we zoom on out, that is most of the riverfront, and it's mostly for entertainment purposes. But if you're moving here, you're probably curious at where you can get like your groceries, maybe your home improvement goods, all of those sorts of things. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out and show you exactly where that sorts of things happen. So if you look here, there's a road that goes right along here. It looks like a main thoroughfare, and it really is. And it's called John Deere Road. Okay, so one thing you'll notice if you're in Moline, you'll hear John Deere a lot, and that is because the headquarters are there, as I stated before. Now, John Deere is located over here, but along John Deere, there are your big box stores such as Lowe's, Walmart, you got Menards here. Over here, you're going to have your Target. So a lot of those big box stores where you can get most of your groceries, most of your food items, which I guess are groceries, most of your clothes, those sorts of things, they are going to be along John Deere Road, as well as South Park Mall. Now, South Park Mall does have venues in it still, although I would say that it's not as full as it could be and probably was in the past. One notable one that I really enjoy going to is the Dillard's Clearance Center. The Dillard's Clearance Center is a little bit different than most Dillards that are around in that all the Dillards in the Midwest will send their leftover inventory to this exact store. And this Dillard's Clearance Center actually clearances off most of those items. So you walk in there and you get some really great deals on clothing items, bedding items, pots, pans, anything that a Dillard's might have. They have it for clearance in this Dillard's Clearance Center. If you're into clearance buying, check out this specific store in South Park Mall. But as you can see, John Deere Road is really that main thoroughfare that does host a lot of those big box stores that you most likely used to shopping at. So if you're moving here and you want to be close to stores like that, think about moving close to John Deere Road, as that is going to be the shortest amount of time to get to where you want to go. One notable thing about John Deere Road is that they never seem to be done on constructing it. Now, it's technically constructed, but it always seems to be under construction, modifying, doing something to it that always seems to back up traffic. So if you're going down to John Deere Road, be prepared for that construction because it never seems to be done. I don't know why or what the heck they're doing there, but just you're being warned, okay? Now, if we go up from South Park Mall, you'll see Prospect Park, which I've talked about in the past, and I just want to bring up and show you exactly where it is. So if we zoom out, here's downtown, here's John Deere Road, and here's Prospect Park. Now, I've talked about it in the past. It's been a really cool place to go. Me and my girlfriend went there just the other day, and it's just so peaceful to go in there because you have this pond that's down here. You have the ability to go fish there if you really want to, and you have the Quad Cities Music Guild. Although the first time I ever went there was when I was an intern and I went disc golfing. I used to be really into disc golfing, and as far as disc golf courses go, this one's one of the better ones I've been at. Something that's a little bit unknown about the Quad Cities, it's kind of a mecca for disc golfing. There's disc golf courses all across the Quad Cities, not just in Moline, and most of them are really, really good. But I would say Prospect Park is on the better side of most of those disc golf courses because it's so hilly and it really kind of provides a unique experience that you don't get at other places. So if you're into disc golfing, check it out. Or if you just want to take your date there, take your family there, check out Prospect Park because it is one of my favorites and I hope that you're going to like it too. Now we go ahead and zoom on out. We're going to go over to one of the main attractions, if you can call it an attraction, and that's John Deere headquarters. I'm sitting right here. It is the biggest employer in the Quad Cities, and that's why if you're in Moline, you're going to hear about it a lot because it is one of the biggest, or it is the biggest employer in the Quad Cities. And it's really cool to have it here as a part of the area. If we go ahead and jump on in here, I can show you a little bit. You can see their campus is pretty cool. You got these big buildings here. So I don't know where I fell into here. Let's jump out. But yeah, you can see you got your main buildings right through here. You got the pond here and all the employee parking. Now they have their headquarters here, but they actually have different facilities all over the cities, all over the Quad Cities. One notable one in Moline is down here. And this is the seating group. And it's parked right up next to Sylvan Island. Again, this is an island that I've talked about in the past. It sits right off of Rock Island Arsenal and is actually connected via a bridge right here. And you can walk these paths, take a look at it. It's pretty cool and it's a little bit spooky at the same time because there's an old factory that used to be on here that used to, I believe, it used to make steel. Not 100% sure. I've been told it's been for bricks as well. So if you know, let me know the difference if it is bricks or steel. Regardless, the old foundations are located on there. And it used to be a peninsula that they cut right through here in order to redirect the water so that they could use it for a hydroelectric dam. And that dam actually powered the first electric lights in Moline. So it's a cool piece of history and a really cool place to go and just walk around with whoever you want to walk around with. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out again. As far as Moline goes, that is the basics. Now there are some other things like the Avenue of Cities, which is another main thoroughfare through the Quad Cities or through the Moline area. Has a lot of stores along it, like McDonald's, Dunkin'. You have Hy-Vee. If you're not familiar with Hy-Vee, it is a local chain that is throughout the Midwest, and it's usually located closer to residential areas, so it's very convenient to go to versus having to drive a little ways to go to maybe one of your big box stores. So that is Avenue of Cities. They do have a lot of those types of stores along here. Like I said, one of the main thoroughfares through the Moline area. You can go ahead and zoom out. And I hope you really like this video. It's not really going over the neighborhoods necessarily, but it gives you an idea exactly where things are in case you are moving to Moline. You kind of know where to position yourself according to whatever your lifestyle is. If you're really wanting to be able to shop, you maybe want to be closer to John Deere. If you're wanting to go to entertainment venues, you maybe want to be closer to that downtown, maybe that riverfront area. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're thinking about moving to Moline, watch this video here to see if that's the right decision.